Did you know you have the power to change your life? It all depends on your beliefs. If you have limiting beliefs, you limit yourself. I'm Becky Beach, and I'm here to help you overcome your limiting beliefs so you can design your dream life. This is the Becky Beach Show. Oh, hey everybody, welcome to the Becky Beach Show. I'm Becky Beach, and today's guest is Debbie Gartner. She's a six-figure blogger and SEO and affiliate marketing expert. I'm so happy to have you today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So could you tell us about your blogging journey? Like, how'd you get started doing this?
Yeah, so I started way back when in 2010, and I started my actual blog, which is called theflooringgirl.com in 2011. And back then, I didn't know anything about monetizing your blog or anything about anything for that matter, but I did it for my flooring business. I had a local shop at home flooring business, and I heard that blogging could be a good way to find customers. So that's how I got started with it all. And, years later, it's just completely evolved.
Oh, that's incredible. So, like, I heard your blog, it gets like 300,000 page views a month, or is it more now? Or, like, how'd you learn how to do that with SEO, right?
So, yeah, it definitely gets more. So often I'm around over 500,000 page views a month.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So when you get SEO traffic, for example, it's higher quality, higher value. It makes more money for you, not to mention all the other benefits, which we can get into. But I basically, years ago was just trying to find ways to find customers for my business. I only wanted local customers because, I live in New York and I can't help people in California, right? I can't go to their home.
Yeah.
So I just wanted people very, very locally. So I learned how to do SEO. And I just learned by doing and reading every single article I possibly could between 2010 and 2012. And I just, tried it and did it and improved and improved. And what I learned is that the quality of my customers or my leads was way higher than the other lead sources. So back then I was running, a small local business, and you would get leads in a number of different ways. Sometimes you would, pay for the lead. Sometimes you would get stuff from other contractors like painters or from referrals or friends or past customers. But what I found is my highest quality leads were actually coming from people that found my blog. So they found me at theflooringgirl.com. I just wrote articles about flooring and all the different questions my customers had. So I would answer them there. And then if they happened to be local, they would usually give me a call. And they were higher quality customers than the leads I would get anywhere else. So that's how I got started. And like I said, SEO traffic is much more targeted. So I wanted people that wanted certain things and they liked my blog posts and that I was helpful and that I was a real human being and a real person that could actually write and communicate, because I'm up against all these men because I was in a very male dominated business. And most of them really don't understand home decor or don't understand like the right colors that are most stylish or know the things that many female homeowners would know or would ask about. And I love that stuff. So it would just come naturally to me and I could explain everything in layman's terms to them instead of how a flooring contractor might do it. So which color do you want? This or this? That's what I would do. I'd say, oh, well, I think that in this room or in this home, these colors would look better. What do you think about this or that? A little bit darker, a little bit redder, a little bit less red, shiny or not shiny. But they would ask me my opinion because I knew, which colors are more stylish, which colors sell homes faster, which ones hold up better, which ones cost more, like all those key things that a normal, regular homeowner would ask about. And I mean, the key decision maker is usually at least 80% of the time a woman, not always. And, let's call it 95% of the contractors out there would be men. And here I was, the flooring girl helping them out. And so they liked that, and it worked really well. And then they would recommend me to their friends because, I got them and I could help them and I could explain why this would be the better answer, or the pros and cons for whatever it was that they were contemplating.
Yeah, I heard that you were mentioned on HGTV.
Oh, yeah. I was on a couple of shows, and honestly, it was just kind of luck. I think they just found my blog. So we were on Sell This House, a couple of episodes, and also Property Brothers or something. So they go, from city to city, and then they look for contractors to help in those cities. And then they'll be like, well, will you do this for free? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do anything for free.
Yeah, no way.
I'm in higher demand here. So, but that's what they would start with. So the goal would be people would be like, oh yeah, sure, put me on there. But we would usually do stuff kind of at cost or a little bit higher, to help out. But then it was the PR recognition. And then I would I'm a marketing person by trade, if you will. I used to work at Procter & Gamble. So then once we had that stuff, then I think, well, how do I leverage that with my customers? So then in my emails, I would send to them, oh, we're going to be on TV, or can you believe this, or whatever.
That's awesome.
And it just gave us more credibility, and then we'd have the logos on there and everything like that. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, so it's interesting how a blog can propel your business, into other forms of media like TV and radio and all kinds of stuff.
Right. Yeah, there's so much that you can do with it, and sometimes you don't even realize going in that's the case. So I've had other places like the Washington Post has contacted me, to be interviewed, and it was kind of cool too, because with Elizabeth Mayhew, you probably have no idea who she is, but she did Real Simple, and she worked for the Washington Post. And so she wanted to do an article on something about kitchens, and she contacted me. And I, of course, used to watch her on the Today Show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I'm interviewing I'm being interviewed by one of my heroes. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, people find you all over when you come up on SEO.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But really at the time, all I wanted were local flooring customers. And then it was just understanding what their questions and their needs were. I live in Westchester County, which is right outside New York City. So we get a lot of people moving from New York City, and then understanding the trends and the types of questions that they ask. But it's really nice because they're moving into like a whole home here in the suburbs. They can still work in New York City, but they would, live here.
Oh, great! So I understand you were in like several $1,000s in debt. Like, I remember you said your blog helped you get out of that. Like, what happened exactly?
Yeah, so I'm not allowed to go into the details, but basically, the very end of 2016, right before Thanksgiving and the holidays, like the happiest time of the year.
Yeah.
My life fell apart, and it was so horrible. And I seriously used to measure everything in terms of Thanksgivings. Like, here's where I'll be in one Thanksgiving from now. And now it's 2 Thanksgivings from now. But basically, I found myself without a job, without a source of income, and $238,000 in debt. And as I mentioned, I live right outside New York City. So in one of the most expensive areas of the country. And it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have to start over. So it was really pretty scary. And thankfully, by then, I was already reading and thinking about monetizing my blog. I mean, I was going to start a new business, a new blog. I just, couldn't get my act together. So then it's like, when the stuff hits the fan, you got to do something. So then I decided to try to learn how to monetize my blog, and I had no idea how to do it, but I decided I would do that. I knew it would take a long time to do, so I didn't want to kid myself. I got 2 other part-time jobs so that I could make sure I had some money coming in. So I knew how to blog, I knew how to do SEO, so I started doing some freelance blogging and SEO for some other local businesses, not necessarily local to me, but they had local businesses.
Yeah.
And then I also basically went to a painter friend because painting and flooring goes together. So I honestly, I just begged him for a job. So I said, can you please help me? And this was January. Okay. And it gets kind of cold here in January. And we have this white stuff called snow that comes every year. Okay. So here, people don't do many home renovation projects then. They don't want workers coming in and out of their home. So his natural inclination was, no, I don't need anybody. Like, why would I hire you? Like, it's not spring yet. Yeah, so it was hard, but I begged him. And he's a good guy. And then he basically said, here's what I can do. He's like, you're really good with the customer. You understand color. You understand design. You understand how to communicate. I will train you how to do painting, and it'll be commission only.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give you a few leads, not a ton, because you know how things are during the winter. And then if you close them, you'll get a commission. And if you don't, then you get nothing, basically. So that's what I did. And meanwhile, I tried to learn how to monetize my blog. So I turned on the ads right away because I told you before I knew how to do SEO.
Yeah.
So I was already getting about, I think, 150,000 page views a month or so without trying. I just, like I said, I was trying to get the local customers. But then, people across the country would come and find me. And so I monetized that. So I turned that on, and right away I got some money, not a ton, but I got some money. Like, I think my first month I ended up making around $1,300 or $1,500 or something like that. And that was through a combination of ads and then a little bit of affiliate marketing from Amazon that I had tried starting to do a little bit here and there on the side of a 100-hour week job. So that's how it started.
Yeah, I understand. You're really good at affiliate marketing with Amazon. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah. So Amazon was the first area that I got started with, and it's the easiest program. And for anyone that's doing like a regular consumer focused niche, then Amazon is a really good place to shop because people trust Amazon. So the conversion is much higher. And it took me a while to learn, and I did over a period of years, but I basically got it up to around $7,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really good. And it kept going up and up, which is really nice. And then, the commissions went down during the pandemic. So everyone's like, oh, move away from Amazon. But my attitude was, no, don't move away from Amazon because they have the highest conversion, usually like 8 to 10 times as high as any other retail program. So when you do the math, you're better off going with Amazon than someone else who pays more, unless they're going to pay. It's just like with physical goods, there's a lot more, there's a lot higher cost. So there's only so much they can pay you in commissions. But anyway, I knew that was the case. We're all stuck at home during the pandemic. Right?
Yeah.
So more people were buying online. So even though they cut the commissions, it was like more than half is what they cut them, more than that. But I then ended up still making $5,000 a month. So I said, okay, that's not so bad. I'll still take that. But the good thing is that Amazon is just one of many places. And I do believe in diversification. But I actually have a whole course on Amazon as well. And I have a free guide, which maybe you can link to in the show notes or something.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I'll also link to your course as well.
Yeah. But from there, I wanted to diversify. I mean, it's just like a stock portfolio. You have to make money in multiple ways if you want to, really treat this like a business. So then I looked at other places like Reward Style is another one. I often make $4,000 to $5,000 a month there. Mm-hmm. And then many other programs. But basically at this point in time, I probably make, on average, I'm around, for this year, which is 2021, I make about $18,000 a month just on affiliate marketing. So that is nice.
That's amazing. Wow, I'm just so impressed with how much you have accomplished. It's incredible.
Yeah. But I didn't stop there. So I had the ads, which is now the smallest portion of my income. It's
Yeah.
probably, $5,000 or $6,000 a month, which is, good. But the affiliate marketing is like 18,000. And I also have products now too, which I've been working on since, I don't know, maybe end of 2018 was my first product, which was an SEO product. So I have that, and I have several other SEO books, but I probably make around $10,000 to $12,000 a month on my own products too.
That's
So
incredible.
that
So a
helps.
lot of bloggers think you just need to have a lot of traffic for ads, but that's not the case. There's all these different ways to monetize, right?
Right. I mean, for most bloggers, ads are usually the entry point and usually the easiest one to get started on because all you kind of need is traffic. But in the long run, they're the least profitable because you can make so much more money by other methods and you can scale so much more. When you focus on affiliate marketing and products, either one or both of those, that's what can really skyrocket your income there. So when I started, and it was really hard when I first started. I mean, I think it's hard for everybody. So you kind of have to give it some time to figure everything out. But I read tons of income reports. And when I looked at them and you see the ones that are doing better, they either did really well in affiliate marketing or really well on products, or they did really well on both. And that was my goal. But I started with affiliate marketing and then went into products from there.
Oh, yeah, a lot of bloggers like just don't know. They don't really think about making their own products. It's great to see that it can be very profitable if you know what you're doing. Because don't you use Sendowl, right, to send everything?
Yeah, so I actually use two payment processors. The first one I started with is Sendowl, which is great. I highly recommend it for people that are just getting into products because, first of all, it's just really great. It does a really great job on there, but it's also very simple to use and it's pretty low cost. So unlike some of the other places, they charge you a like a transaction fee as well. Sendowl doesn't. You just pay a small monthly fee, which is, the program I use with there, which includes affiliates on there, and you can also do upsells and redirects and bundles, which is really where the money comes in once you get to that point. As soon as you have product number 2, it's huge. So I just pay $24 a month, and that's it, no matter how few or how many I sell. Now, obviously, when you first start out, you may not sell that many products, but the whole idea is over time, you do sell many products. So the cost for that is kind of inconsequential. I don't care. Like even at this point, if I was paying $100 a month, it would be so small compared to what I'm making. The second program I use is called ThriveCart, which is also really great. You can do a lot with that, but it's there's a one-time upfront fee. So really you have to pay around almost $700 for it.
Yeah.
Which, when you first start, that sounds like a huge deal, right? Like, and I wouldn't have done that because I didn't know if I would do well in products or not. Now I do know, and I see the math and I see that is inconsequential. So I use that as well. But, I just told you Sendowl was only $24 a month. Okay. But, when you do the math on that, after 2 years or so, you're paying, maybe, I forget if it's 2 years and 3 months or something like that. You've already paid the same amount as $690 that you have to for ThriveCart.
Yeah.
And then for every month ongoing, you're not paying any more for ThriveCart. So it's a big upfront cost. So not real good for people that are unsure, don't know if they will be successful. But for someone like you, for example, because you do very well on products, so you already know what your income is coming in. So it's kind of a no-brainer for someone like you or someone else making good money on their product from what the products.
Yeah, I do pretty well with products. I understand that ThriveCart and Sendowl, they both have built-in affiliate programs too, so other people could promote your products for you, right?
Yeah, that is so important, as I'm sure you know, because I mean, affiliates can really add to your bottom line. Many new bloggers mistakenly think of affiliates as a cost. It's not a cost, it's an investment. And I probably get a good, I don't know, a few, 2, 3, 4,000, it varies from month to month extra versus had I had no affiliates. But when I first launched my products, I did not even have an email list. So I was kind of stupid back in the day.
Oh,
Keep learning as I go. But basically, I never would have gotten out of the gate had it not been for affiliates. So I had several friends who were really strong affiliate marketers. They promoted my product for me to their audiences. They got a cut of it. So they did well and they made money, but I also made money. So it became a win-win situation. And you need to look at it as it's an investment, not a cost.
oh yeah,
So,
totally agree. Because at first, it's kind of hard to get people to buy from you. So what hurdles have you overcome in regards to that?
well, I don't know. I was kind of lucky. So I'll just say
Okay.
that. So what kind of worked for me might not work for everybody else. But I knew my first products were SEO. So I knew SEO like the back of my hand.
Yes.
And at first people didn't know that, and I didn't tell anybody that either. So I didn't want to do any work for bloggers. I was just doing work for local companies because I could get paid more that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone who was like a pseudo friend at the time, he's now a good friend, but he was a pseudo friend, published something in a Facebook group that basically said, "Oh, I'm thinking about hiring an SEO agency. Does anybody know a good place?" And I know that if you hire the wrong SEO agency, that your blog may be toast. Okay.
Oh.
So I offered to help him, and I basically said, hey, people don't know that I know how to do SEO, but I do. And if you want, I think I can coach you and tell you how to do everything in an hour. And if you'll just pay me, $75, whatever. But of course, it took more than an hour. It was probably more like 2 hours or whatever. And I helped him. And he's like, wow, you really know what you're doing. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, yeah, I do. I've been doing this for a while. And then he said, oh, you started a blog. I was like, no, I don't like writing. And I hate writing about SEO. And that would just bore the crap out of me. But I like actually coaching and teaching people. So
Yeah.
I decided to try that. And at the time, I was also trying to get my mind off of one of my parents. My dad had a big health problem, which thankfully now is solved. But I needed more money, and I needed to get my mind off of stuff. And then that worked really well. Then someone else said, "Oh, I need help with SEO," and I said, "Oh, I think I can teach you." And then that person paid me, and then word got out, and then some bigger blogger said, "Oh, you know how to do SEO? Like, can I sign up for a lesson?" And then like word got out like crazy. Okay. And in a few of the Facebook groups, people knew me then as doing SEO. I would give little tips here and there. And I just became very well known. That was before I launched any books. I wasn't even trying. I wasn't even planning to do any of this stuff. So then it got more and more popular. I had a wait list for 3 months. And I couldn't keep up. And I felt bad telling people, I'm not free until
Yeah.
whatever month. And then someone said, oh, why don't you just, create a book or a course? And I was like, what? And all these people that I coached said, yes, you should totally do that. So I decided to do that. And that's how I launched my first book. So I had a bit of word of mouth PR going on without any plan. And then several different people that blogged about blogging and had email lists, knew about it, and then they were willing to promote it and give it a try, and it just worked. And I was so nervous, I can't even tell you. So I was like, oh my God, this thing is gonna flop. And I'm like, if I just make $1,000, like I will be so happy if I just make $1,000.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't believe it, but people liked it. I mean, I worked really hard on it, so I could believe it in that sense, but I couldn't believe that I'd made like more than $1,000 or something the first day or so, or day or two. And I'm like, oh my God. But I launched it like the middle of December, which is probably the worst time to launch anything.
Mm-hmm.
And before the end of the year, like in the last 2 weeks, I made, this is revenue, I made a little over $6,000.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I was like floored and surprised. And yeah, it just worked. Now, I did not pocket that amount of money because I had affiliates. I didn't have an email list or anything. But I think at the end, I still made about $3,800, which, for me was a huge deal. Like, oh my God. And then I continued to make some more money in January. And then I realized there was a need. So my first book was Easy Backlinks. Easy backlinks for SEO. And at the time, like no one was really talking about backlinks. They would tell you, oh, you need to get backlinks, but they wouldn't tell you how you do it, right? How do you do it?
Yeah.
Where do you get the links? What types of links? What sort of anchor text? So I did that. It was really an unmet need at the time. Now lots of people are talking about it, here and there, but I really go into all the details. But I realized that I was helping people that were slightly more advanced and not the beginners. The beginners needed to know how to just write, a blog post that will do well for SEO. So you have both parts. So then in February, I launched my second book, which is Easy On-Page SEO. And that's really the first book that people should read, so you understand what you're shooting for. And the second book is really easy backlinks for SEO. And now I have them offered as a bundle together, so it works. So in February, I did really well. But then what surprised me, and it sounds so obvious now, is that as soon as I launched the second book, the first book made even more sales. And then I would do like cross promotion. So if you buy this, you can get this. If you buy that, you can get this. And gave people different options to buy based on what they needed. And I, did really, really well. And I just kept, doing more and more. And then, I didn't even have an email list at the time, right? So I realized months later, oh, how stupid am I? Like, I just told you that affiliates are really good, right? And they are, okay? But you never want to be dependent wholly on your affiliates, because how often can each affiliate promote your stuff? Like at a certain point, they're going to get bored of it. Their list is going to get bored of it. They have other things to promote. So you have to be, basically, as Seinfeld would say, the master of your domain, essentially. You need to lead the ship. So then I started an email list from there, but I didn't do an email list until 6 months after I launched, which is really quite funny. Quite
6 months. That's just awesome. They make lots of sales from the affiliates. And then when you launch your list, like did you automatically get more sales that way? What's your frequency of emailing?
Yeah, so I didn't know what I was doing at all with email. And I created a free lead magnet, just my free SEO course. And I totally didn't know what I was doing. I'm not tech savvy. I did the free course, but I couldn't get the stupid landing page to work. And I posted in a group, and then someone said, oh, I can help you with that. And I can help you for free. Because remember, I'm hugely in debt still at this point in time.
Oh, yeah.
So let me think. At that point in time, I think I had, I don't know, $150,000 or $175,000 debt. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
that's a
she
lot.
actually is. Yeah, it was terrible. My life was terrible. But I basically could not spend any money on myself. And all the money I had was going into my business or to pay off debt. So I just tried to minimize all my expenses. And so someone who was a previous student said, oh, I can help you with this, and I can do this for free. And of course, I'm like, free, yay, awesome. Like I need help. Right, exactly. So I said, but I can't have you work for me for free. So I said, I'll tell you what, I can give you SEO lessons if you fix this for me. And then the funny thing is, I posted in a Facebook group that was fairly large, where I was pretty well known. And I said, I'm trying to do this. And then people said, oh, I want to sign up. Where do I sign up? And so then after I put it in there, so I quickly got like 300 email subscribers right away. And then it just kept going up from there. And then I was in BC Stack for the first time like 3 years ago or 2 years. I can't remember when it was, but I've done it now 3 years in a row. And I remember like Dan saying, "Oh, these people want to hear from you." I was like, "What? Like, who am I? Like, nobody knows who I am, right?" But like, what the heck am I going to do? I'm like, I don't even have an email list. I have 300 people on my email list. And then Dan said, "Oh, yeah, well, not to worry. You can bring other bloggers in. And if you do, you get 10% of their commission." And I was like, "Yeah, but all the bigger bloggers are already doing these things.
Yeah.
Who do I know?" And so I asked him a few people and like, "Oh, no. They're already, cookie to someone else, blah, blah, blah." And then I said, "Do you know Jennifer Maker?" And he said, "No." I said, "Okay, good. I'll call you back later. Gotta go." So I called Jennifer Maker and I said, "Do you know about BC Stack?" And she's like, "Oh, I would love to do that." And I said, "Okay, well, I'll see if I can get you in." This is like 24 hours before it was supposed to launch. So not playing out very well. So then I called Dan back. I said, "Okay, remember I said Jennifer Maker?" And I said, "You want to know her. Believe me, you want to know her. Can you get her into this thing?" And he said, "Well, someone just canceled, so I can fit her in." So he fit her in. And then she, of course, did number one that year. So it helped me as well. But it was a win-win for her and for Dan and for me. And that's kind of how some of these things worked. And that's, then I started getting a whole bunch of subscribers from there and then just gradually, grew things. But at the time, I was probably only emailing, I don't know, once a week, maybe twice a week. The funny thing is, I thought that I would hate email because I hate writing.
Yeah.
I know it sounds so ridiculous because I'm a blogger, right? And I hate writing. And I mean, when I say hate, I mean hate. Like, it is my worst subject. But I'm like a math science person, not a writing English person. That's just not me. But thankfully, on my blog, I was writing about stuff I really knew well. So I knew home decor, I knew flooring, I knew painting. So I had to pretend that I wasn't writing. I had to pretend that I was back in my customer's home talking to a real life customer. And they're asking me questions and then I answer. So I was like, what am I going to do with email? I don't understand how email is going to help me. That seems like a pain. So much extra work, blah, blah, blah. And then someone said, "Oh, it's just like helping people and talking to people." And when I was able to reframe it in my mind, okay, it's not really about writing. I mean, I do write, but I basically pretend that I'm talking to a friend. And that's how I write my email newsletters. That's all I do. Yeah. So I basically started out at maybe once or twice a week or something. And over time, things got, much more profitable. And I enjoyed it more. I was getting good responses back and people would send me nice notes and blah, blah, blah. So it felt kind of good. But now I'm at the point where I make more than $10,000 a month just from my email and doing that. Yeah, just like a minimum of $10,000 every month this year. And sometimes it's been much more. Like this month, what's today's date? It's the 25th.
Oh yeah, 25th.
So, yeah. So through the 24th, which is yesterday, I've made $15,000 for the month from my email list. And I've had other months where it's been like, 12,000 or 13,000. I've had one month where it's been 21,000. So I really see the benefit of having an email list. I mean, I kind of alluded to it before, like you need to be master of your domain and you want to have control over that list, right? Not just be dependent on affiliates, but look at affiliates as your partners, but not the only driving force behind your brand, just one of them. And so anyway, now I email more often, probably usually 4 to 5 times a week is what I do. And it's not like I'm really disciplined about it. So sometimes it's just when something pops into my head or there's a promotion going on that I think would be good for my people. But yeah, that's what I'm doing now. And I so missed it for so many years. I didn't know. So I went years with no email list.
Oh, yeah, it's so great that you have one now. So how do you find these affiliates to promote? They just contact you, or how does it work?
Oh, I don't know. Over time, I just learn and do. So I mean, there are certain promotions that happen at different times. You kind of hear and learn and that sort of thing. But I often will seek out people. So I don't want to be like everybody else. So if everybody else is promoting product XYZ, I want to do something that other people aren't doing. So sometimes I'm just actively looking for people. So I stumble across them. So like John Dykstra is a good example of that. Like I saw a video and no one in my sphere was promoting him, but I could tell from that video that he thought about SEO in the same way that I did, right? And so I talk about SEO, but I know how to do long tail keyword research, but I basically cannot explain it well. I can do it. I just cannot explain it well. So I believe in only doing products and things that you're really good at and really good at explaining. So I'm like, I'm just not going to cover that. And then I could tell from the way he was talking in this video that he thought about it just like I did. So I said, let me just reach out to him. And I randomly just reached out to him. And so I sent him a note. He doesn't know who I am. I just gave him a little backstory of who I was, and that I saw eye to eye with how he does long tail keyword research. And would you be willing to make me an affiliate? And I said, would you be willing to talk on the phone? It's all I said.
Oh,
he said,
that's a great
sure.
idea.
Yeah. Because I remember, I don't like writing. I like talking. So
Yeah.
I like talk on the phone all the time. As you know, I call you sometimes and everything. But that's my comfort zone and always has been. So ever since high school, I like talking on the phone. So anyway, I called him. We must have spoken for an hour and a half, and it was really, really fruitful conversation. And then from there, what happened then? Oh, yeah, sorry. I learned maybe 6 or 9 months later that he is a total introvert and he hates, and I mean hates, talking on the phone. I think I hate writing as much as he hates talking on the phone.
Crazy.
And so then I learned that, and he said he never takes anybody's phone call. And I said, oh, I'm so glad and honored that you took mine. He said, well, that was one of the most productive phone calls I've ever had. And then I promoted his stuff, and then it did really well because, of course, I believed in that product. And I have an email list that's trying to grow their SEO. So it was just a great fit. From there, other people started copying me, which is kind of a bummer, but that's just the story with him. And then, there are other people I've done the same sort of thing. I'm like, oh, like that's really interesting. So I kind of like when I have these little finds or these aha moments, and then I can be, quote unquote, the only one promoting them. Sometimes that means the only one at this time. So if I take another product, whatever product it is, but if it's not like on sale, I might just be like, hey, like this is really great. Or I might go approach that person and be like, hey, can we run a sale maybe? And then some people say,
idea.
sure. Yeah, so that's the sort of thing that I do because I hate being like everybody else. So like I personally love Genius Blogger Toolkit, okay? But I hate the fact that everyone is promoting it at the same time.
Oh,
and I hate that everyone's like, oh, use my link, because then it's like, use my link. As opposed to Genius Blogger Toolkit is great because of X, Y, and Z. And that's more my style. This is like, what's the benefit? Because the benefit is not to me. Like, the benefit is to my reader, right? I cannot just promote stuff for the heck of promoting stuff to make me money. Like that's asinine. And it's like selfish. So I don't do that. So I usually look for what are the products that will help my readers, my list, and why do I think they're great? And that's just my philosophy. I mean, I come from a marketing background, so I used to work at P&G, in case you've heard of that company. But it's always like, who is your target? And what's the need? What's the solution? Tell them the benefit. And that's just how I do everything naturally. So
That's incredible mindset.
That's incredible
Love
mindset. I love that.
Yeah, you have to be like that. A lot of people are like, oh, let me just promote this because I'm going to get a big commission. And you can't. Like, that's the wrong philosophy. It has to be, this is going to benefit someone. Here's why. And here's why it's a good value for you. Okay. And then I am helping them find the right product. And as a result, I am getting a commission as well. So it becomes win-win. But I really believe in promoting people and products that are right for my people, not I'm making big commissions. So I don't really promote really expensive products.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a few that are more expensive, but not like $1,000 courses or something like that. It has to be, this is going to be good for you. Here's why. Often or usually it's something that I myself have taken. There are a few times where I have promoted people because I've taken their other courses and I don't always have time to take stuff, but I never just will be like, hey, buy this because, or start with the standpoint of what's going to make me a big commission.
Oh, that's like, I love that way of thinking.
Yeah. You have to do that and you have to believe in it. And it can't just be like, buy this, buy more, and buy, whatever. You will exhaust your list and they won't trust you. I mean, trust is the key here, right? Because if you're just always promoting every single thing, and I see some people doing that, and I don't know whether or not that's working for them, but if I promote something and my people aren't happy, they will usually let me know. Although I try to prevent that from happening because I try to make sure, like I just said, that something is actually good and here's why. But there are plenty of people that will just be like, hey, buy this, buy this. This is really good. And some of them never have bought the product in the first place. So they don't really know or have experience or know why it can help them. So I'm not like that.
Oh, that's just amazing. So you kind of touch on this in your affiliate marketing course for Amazon? Because I guess you do so well, and maybe that is why, because you're telling these people why they should get this product. That's a really great idea.
Yeah. So my background is helping homeowners, right? And I'm in a male-dominated niche, and the contractors are trying to sell the job, right? I'm not. I took a more consultative approach. Okay, what's the best floor for you? I don't care if I make less on it, as long as I find the right floor for you. Okay, so like I know that sanding and refinishing an existing floor is way less expensive than replacing the floor or putting a new thing in there. So I will make less money on selling a sanding and refinishing job than selling a new hardwood job. But that's not my job. My job is to help my homeowner find what's best for her and her home. And sometimes the answer is sanding and sometimes it's not. Some people can't deal with getting out of the house. They just have nowhere to go. So it doesn't really work. It's different now with COVID, but it's like you got to solve their problem. So then when people have lived in a home for, let's say, 30 years, they've accumulated a lot of stuff. And if they have hardwood all over the place, like, what are they going to do with all the furniture? Like, what are they going to do? So my job became, how do I solve that problem? Okay, we're going to do your home in 2 phases. We're going to do the biggest phase first. We're going to take all the furniture and put it into 2 or 3 rooms, and we'll do all but that, and you will go away then. And then we'll let everything dry. Then we're going to move the furniture back. So then we move the other furniture into the other place, and we'll do the other 2 or 3 rooms. So it's the least expensive for you. And doing the other 2 or 3 rooms isn't going to smell as much, or you can go away. So we would do stuff where it's December vacation, you do this whole portion, and then February vacation for school, you do the second portion. It's all about problem solving. And the other contractors that I'm competing with, they weren't about helping the customer. I was always about helping the customer, finding the best solution for them. And so then when it came to affiliate marketing, when I was getting my start and doing Amazon, okay, well, I know that a bunch of contractors don't even know the best polyurethane, right? But I do, because I know the problems with all these other ones. And let me just tell you which is the best one, or the best one for this circumstance. Or, what if someone's pregnant, or what if someone, needs to get into their home faster. You have to think about what they need and then which is the best polyurethane for them, or what color do they want. So there are different answers all the time. It's not one size fits all. It's like, okay, given your particular needs, the color that you want and the time frame that you have, this would be the best solution. Here's why. And then here's the cost. Or here's option A, B, and C. You choose, and often it might be, hey, this is the one that's more convenient, or this is the one that costs less. Let them decide, but explain it to them in terms they understand. So, I thought about it, well, I am helping all the women out there. I'm empowering them to make the right decisions for their home. And if that is go with product A or go with product B, they can decide what they need for their home based on what type of hardwood they have. If it's solid or engineer, what type of foundation do they have in their home? Like, you live in Texas, right? In Dallas?
Yeah, I love this because both the links are yours, but you're like comparing and contrasting the different products, but they're both your links. So whatever decision they make, you're still going to make a profit, right?
Right. But see, homes are very different across the country. So I'm guessing in your area that there are a lot of homes that are built on slabs. Is that right? And
we had problems with our foundation, so we had a foundation repair. So it's always shifting in Texas. So it was always homes with foundation repair needed.
Right, and that's totally different from how homes are built in the Northeast, the Mideast, the Midwest. Sorry, not the Mideast, the Mid-Atlantic. It's all different. So here, for most homes, or most houses, I should say, they are not on concrete slabs, and most of them have basements. Totally the opposite of what you find in Texas, right? So you got to figure out what's the best for them. But also, I might have a homeowner that needs to figure out what to put in their basement, and that's totally different than what they put in their kitchen, which is different from what they put on the main floor of their home. So you had to figure out what makes sense given the room, the customer, the way the home is built and everything, and what the customer needs and what the customer wants. So you got to put all those things together.
Man, I just never thought about it that way. It's just incredible. You're like probably a marketing genius, Debbie.
I don't think I'm a genius, but I guess as I'm talking out loud, we need to think about ourselves as problem solvers. And the problems don't need to be huge, okay? They can be, very simple problems, like how do I find the right color for this, or, which is the best hardwood for a basement? And hint, the answer is usually don't do hardwood in the basement, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
People have these questions all the time, and you got to figure out what's right for their particular situation. What are the problems that our customers have? What are they going to search for online for Google? And this is why SEO is so important, because when people will search for particular problems, and if they find my article on, what's the best whatever for whatever, then I'm going to give them the solution and they can go and buy. And hence, I make an affiliate commission. That's kind of how it works. But it's not about me making a commission. It's about me solving their problems and then giving them the solution, and then they buy. It doesn't cost them anything else. But I'm not going to be like the contractors to tell them, here's the one I'm going to make the most money on. No, it's about here's what's going to solve your problem the best. And that's the difference in mindset.
Oh yeah, like live bloggers, they just start writing about their lives, but the way you make money is to answer problems, just like you said, because if they just write about their lives like a journal, it's not an online journal, they won't make nothing,
So true. Yeah. And when I started blogging, that's what a lot of people were doing. And my natural inclination was like, what's the good of that? I mean, I don't mean to say that like a waste or anything like that, but I was in business to be in business. I had a flooring business and I was helping people with their flooring. So there was no need to talk about my life. What I needed to do was establish trust and authority and the solution to their problems. And that's how I did everything. I remember when I first started my blog, my dad looked at me and he's like, who's going to want to read your blog? And I said, nobody. I said, and I don't really care if they read my blog. All I want are the people in my local area who need to do hardwood flooring to find me. And that was my philosophy.
Yeah.
Let's figure out the issues or questions they have. Let's solve them. They're going to naturally come to me because I am a marketing person. I am not a salesperson. I'm terrible at sales, but I'm good at solving problems. I'm good at figuring out solutions once I know the issues.
That's just a great way of thinking, because a lot of people think, oh, I got to be this cheesy salesperson. But think of yourself as a marketer first. You're trying to solve the customer's problem, just like you said, because that's what you do. And that way you can overcome your fear of selling,
Right. Because they'd say, always be closing, ABC, always be closing. But I'm like, no, I'm always selling. And people say, ask for the sale. I'm terrible. And I probably would have been better maybe if I did, but I would not ask for the sale. Instead, my customers say, oh, how do we get started? What are the next steps? And then I say, oh, here's what you do, blah, blah, blah. And then I knew they wanted to work with me because they could have worked with someone else, or they could have worked with me because they trusted me. They knew I would do a good job. And we're also, it's a woman-owned business. And I would have a lot of customers, the husband say, oh, I am never going to work with a male business again. I'm going to work with a woman, because I had all these women. I had some men too, so don't misunderstand me there. But we were more attentive to their needs. So we would explain stuff as we went along. They have a problem, an issue, a question, they could contact us. We'll tell them the answer. And it's just a different experience. So that was...
Well, Debbie, you're just totally an inspiration. I definitely will link to your books and your course in the show notes. It's been a pleasure having you today.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun being on the podcast and everything like that. But, it's a long journey for anyone who's starting. It was really, really hard my first year, really hard. And I already had a head start because I already had a blog established. I already knew how to do SEO. But my first year was really hard. I figured, I'm going to make so much money. My goal is to make $10,000 a month. I'm sure I can do it, No. But, I ended up missing every single goal that I set for the first year. And I think by month 11 is when things started to click. And then I made $3,100 or $3,300 a month or something like that. But it took a while. Year 2 was easier, but I won't say that year 2 was easy, because it wasn't. It was just easier, And I had a huge amount of debt, so that was really stressful. Year 3 got much easier. And my timeline is probably compressed because I told you I had a head start and everything.
Yes.
Anything like that.
No, it's not for the
it's gotten easier
though, right? Because they usually won't make money until year 2. Because I didn't start making money until I was in year 2 or 3. Because before I didn't make nothing, and my family was also telling me that I was wasting my time as well.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. My parents were not supportive, and I've had so many people say, oh, my husband, my boyfriend, my family, my friends, they all think I'm crazy. And you have to have some confidence in yourself. It's really hard at the beginning because you're really unsure. I didn't know if I would make it, but I did know that blogging worked, even though I wasn't making money from it. I knew that SEO worked, and I knew other people are making a lot of money. I'm like, if I can just make 10% of that, I'll be good, So, but then you learn over time. But for most people, you don't make much at all in year 1. I'm more the exception than the rule. Year 2 is easier, but for a lot of people, they don't make much money until maybe month 18 or 24. Year 3 is much better. And the thing is, so many people quit before they even get to that point. So you have to go in with this mindset. It's going to take a while. Now, thankfully, I knew that it would take a while, right? So, because I'd read a lot of stuff. So that's why I had those 2 part-time jobs to make sure I brought money in the door. So people can do other stuff, like they can be a virtual assistant or freelance blogger, or also like what I did, I just took a part-time painting job, which had nothing to do with blogging. I mean, later I turned it into my blog, but that wasn't the plan. It was just like make money, survive. I have to buy time because I have to pay off this debt. So it's going to take time for my blog to make money. And how do I get money coming in the door to get me to that point I need to go? That's how I think about it.
Yeah, that's like really smart to have like services on your blog, when you're just getting started. Like you had SEO services, you can make like a service page on your blog maybe for any services that you may want to do.
You could. I didn't even do that. I didn't even start teaching any SEO until, I don't know, maybe month 18 or 19 or something like that. I could have done it, and I should have. I did a few things locally, but I never had a page for it. And like I said, some of my stuff might have just been good luck. And, I got in a little bit earlier, who knows what, but it was just word of mouth that worked for me there. And I still even have a page on my site for how to sign up for anything like that. It's funny.
Oh yeah, word of mouth's always really, really good. That's cheaper, that's free advertising, So if you do a good job, other people are going to recommend you.
Right. It's really like third-party endorsement, which is a really big thing. And that's why affiliate marketing works too. It is a third-party endorsement. So if I'm recommending, a blogger product because I think it's good, that's a third-party endorsement. Or if I'm recommending an Amazon product, I'm recommending that because that's the right thing. And I know because I've done thousands of floors, not me personally, but my guys have, and I've seen so many messed up floors, it's not even funny, but you have to basically do that and recommend stuff, not just because you want to recommend to make money, as I've said a million times, and not because it's the highest price product and you'll make the biggest commission, but because it's the right product or the best product, and here's why. Even if I make lower commissions, I don't care. That's kind of my philosophy, is what is right for this customer. And that's what you need to think about. Yeah, you need to think about what are the different segments. These customers might need this, these customers need that, and you got to think about it that way.
Oh, yeah, it's important to segment your list because don't you do that, depending on what the customer has been clicking on. You can do that in ConvertKit, I believe,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use Active Campaign, and I love it. And you can definitely segment in different ways based on their behavior or their interest or, what they bought before. And there's so much you can do with email. I had no clue. I mean, once I understood what you could do, and then going back in time to all the marketing I learned over time, because I would do direct mail and segment there and all this stuff. You just had to put your marketing hat on and do it.
That's just so great. Well, to access the show notes, go to mombeach.com/podcast, and I'll have the links to all of Debbie's courses and all her books. You can see for yourself. They're just awesome products. I highly recommend them because I personally have made like now I'm getting like over 200,000 page views a month, and it's like mostly because of Debbie's books. Because I'm a big fan of Debbie.
Thanks, I really appreciate it. Yeah, SEO has been the saving grace for everything. And if you want to do well in affiliate marketing, SEO is one of the keys to do it. So.
Oh, yes. I'm
really
so thrilled to have you today. You've just been great. Like, I learned so much myself. I'm sure our audience has too. Like, it's just been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to the Becky Beach Show. Please go to mombeach.com/podcast to learn more about my podcast and for show notes. If you want a 2022 free printable goal planner, please go to mombeach.com/subscribe. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a great day. Goodbye.